Sheriff Todd Baxter, employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, District Attorney Sandra, Doorley, employees of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Paul C. Metzer, James County Union, Penn Court, Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. My name is Chris Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have been in jail 6 times, and 6 times the prosecutor's not talked in court. I've been in jail in Monroe County Jail in Rochester, New York, and Livingston County Jail in Geneseo, New York. This is the Freedom of Information Law. There's only 4 here today on this November 28th, 2023, Tuesday. Tell me the names of my prosecutors. Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckles and Public Defender Julie Sianka and Public Defender, Assistant Public Defender Mark Phillips. Tell me their names. On the foil, it's attached in PDF, is my address and my email. Send it to me today via email. Freedom of Information Law. Documentation of the case of Christopher Chichester for John P. Lemenzo Jr. Penn Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? District Attorney Sandra Doorley. This is the payroll for the District Attorney's Office. The freaking sociopath that sent me to Monroe County Jail when she didn't utter one word before this $34,000 psychopath and fossil John P. Lemenzo Jr. is right here. Tell me her name. Is that Julie Hahn or is that not Julie Hahn? Freedom of Information Law. Documentation of the case of Christopher Chichester before Paul C. Metzer in Penn Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? District Attorney Sandra Doorley. The freaking sociopath who sent me to Livingston County Jail in Geneseo, where I don't live, is right here. Send me that name today. C. Chichester JUL4 on the foil. C. Chichester JUL4 at gmail.com. 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, New York, 813-648-4441. Julie Sianka, Mark Phillips, call me and tell me who it is. Because it's a taxpayer-financed public proceeding. Freedom of Information Law. Documentation of the case of Christopher Chichester for Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? District Attorney Sandra Doorley. The freaking sociopath that forced me into this $210,000 fossil, Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court, that still has me here in Rochester, New York, preventing me from moving back to Albany, is right here. Who is it? Right here. Monroe County Court for further proceedings. The 1984 of your fucking joke existence at that district attorney's office. Who wrote further proceedings on here and who forced me into him? It's the prosecutor signed to him. Further proceedings. I'm at 70 Liberty Pole Way, my temporary residence. I'm trying to move back to Albany. I'm doing everything possible. I would be in Albany, New York if I did not get this further proceedings. When I have further proceedings and I get this in the mail, one of you psychopaths and freaks at the district attorney's office sent this to me in the mail, and who is it? You know Perry Duckles, and you know Mark Monahan, and you know Elizabeth Buckley, and you know Director of the Grand Jury, Michelle Crowley, who indicts me where I don't know the grand jury's convened and Michael Houlihan purges himself of the sheriff's office. Elizabeth Buckley, send it to me. For $131,000, I believe I have that right. You'll pay just $1,000 less to Todd Baxter. You have it in a paper file or a hard drive at the district attorney's office. Elizabeth Buckley, I believe the director of local court, send it to me. And you will refuse. If you're watching me at this point right now, given what I just read, and you refuse, that's corruption. So, you do not know you're corrupt. Just like Elliot Spitzer does not know he's corrupt. To this day, 15 years after he resigned with disgrace, and I was in Albany on State Street next to the Capitol the day he resigned, he does not know he's corrupt. Just like this revolting, sick little room that you will continue to send innocent citizens in just to be declared guilty by Paul C. Metzer and James Riley Jr., I'm demanding this now for 18 months about Dane DeLaus III. You know exactly who he is. It's the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office, accused child rapist. So-called defective documents. Lemenzo releases him because he has a relationship with the family. He knows the family. He doesn't recuse himself from the appearance of Dan DeLaus III. Freedom of Information Law, November 28, 2023. The, quote, defective documents, unquote, for the case of Dan DeLaus III in Penn Court for John P. Lemenzo Jr. Sentiment. And I know you will refuse, Paul C. Metzer and James Riley Jr., because you're corrupt. And when I contact the Office of Court Administration, which is a bureaucracy I've not contacted yet, I'll tell them you're refusing. So that's you have it. Less than 5 minutes for me to read those 3 foils. Send me that information. Send me the names of my prosecutors. And Public Defender Julie Sianka, unlike District Attorney Sandra Doorley, you serve at the pleasure of the Monroe County Legislature, and you could be removed. The only way that this revolting, sick, fucking sociopath, Sandra Doorley, can be removed from office is defeat at the ballot box. You could just be removed by Monroe County Sheriff's Office, please. You notice how I'm using profanity? I'm using profanity because the Monroe County Sheriff's Office came to my residence to tell me how to talk. I take my dog one day for a walk. I've been using profanity my whole life. And the occupation in America, I'm confident, uses profanity more so than any other occupation, is the police in the United States of America, to include sheriff's office employees. This is why they're psychopaths. So this is where you have the camera on this building I've talked about repeatedly. I don't know if I'm going to get to that. But this is a woman named Nancy Dooley, works at this business here at 2025 Penfield Road. I take my dog one day for his walk, and this Nancy Dooley would stop repeatedly right here and stare at me. She doesn't drive off through this parking lot. I'm thinking there's something wrong, and I ignored her over and over. And one day, I'm standing with my little guy right here, and this Nancy Dooley stops, and there she is staring at me. So I say to this Nancy Dooley, "What the fuck are you looking at? Fuck you." Because she had done this over and over and over, and I ignored her. And I had no tolerance, patience. It all was worn out with her. I walk her back in my rents. Now, employees at the sheriff's office. $0 Michael Rath, $101,000 William Tadeo, $34,000 Kathleen Miller, Scott Alberti. What crime did I just commit? Is there a reason for the sheriff's office to come to my residence from Panorama Trail, given what I just said to this Nancy Dooley at Consumer Insights? Elliot Roth, you're Nancy Dooley's boss. Do you know that she called the sheriff's office? This has to be a crime, because when you call the police, for any reason, when it's not a crime, it's falsely reporting an incident, just like Nayraj Shah's falsely reporting an incident of me walking through his parking lot. I did not file a criminal complaint about her, unlike Nayraj Shah, because I really had pity and sympathy for her. There's something wrong with her. That's why I didn't. And I also don't have vengeance in the heart. I'm not like that. But it is a crime for her to call the sheriff's office, and she has to say that this is a crime or something like that. It's certainly something that's abnormal if I'm incorrect about this being a crime. So, I believe that this is Richard J. Seaman. There's a pounding on my door. You just don't knock a civil way or ring the doorbell. I believe Todd Baxter tells the psychopaths to pound on doors. So I let them in. After I tell Nancy Dooley, "What the fuck you looking at? Fuck you." I walk to the center of my living room. There's my dog running around at my feet. And this, who I believe is Richard J. Seaman, steps right in front of me like this. He's 6 inches from my face, and he screams at me, "What did you say to the woman in the car?" And I replied to him, as the female employee standing at my door from the sheriff's office, "What the fuck are you looking at? Fuck you." And then he says to me, "Don't swear at me." This is why the Monroe County Sheriff's Office is in Jonestown. Coming to my house to tell me how to talk, coming to my house to supervise my speech. Ridiculous. A sick disgrace. Who is it? Tell me who it is. Prosecutors for the district attorney's office. How is this explained when I begin to contact relentlessly the institutions and bureaucracies and individuals in Albany and Washington, D.C. can force your answer, and you've been refusing for 18 months at the district attorney's office to tell me who it is on here? Raymond Bedinez, 131. Alyssa Trulove, 107. Robin Catalano, 135. Elizabeth Buckley, 131, 416. Who is it, Elizabeth Buckley? What is wrong with you? Now, I don't know you, Elizabeth Buckley. And I will not say that someone is unethical when I haven't had direct experience with them. Like I've had with Mark Phillips, who I once had respect and admiration for, and he's refusing over and over to tell me who it is when he knows who it is, and that's unethical. Elizabeth Buckley, are you watching me now at 9 minutes? Who are my prosecutors? Because if the roles were reversed, and I was 131, 416, Assistant District Attorney at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, and I was watching you tell me to tell me the names on prosecutor, you know what I would do? I'd watch the whole thing, and then I'd go to my boss or the appropriate person in the District Attorney's Office. I'd get the information, I'd put it in the mail. Because that's ethics and morality and decency. You know why, Elizabeth Buckley? Because this psychopath in front of Paul C. Messer, this psychopath in front of John P. Lomenzo Jr., and this psychopath in front of Alex Renzi delivered me to jail. Who is it? I try to maintain my equanimity on here, and there are times where I'll fail. This is extremely difficult when it comes to managing the anger when I have to look at this. Further proceedings, Alex Renzi. I'm at 70 Liberty Pole Way because Anthony Spano, my landlord, locked the doors and locked me out. I had nowhere else to go except for this men's shelter with Felix Ortiz of Bronx, New York, helped me over and over. I'm here at 70 Liberty Pole Way. I'm trying to move back to Albany. I get this in the mail. Who's the assistant district attorney that did this to me? There's someone at the district attorney's office whose identity I don't know who forced me into Alex Renzi because when I appear in a courtroom, there is a prosecutor assigned to that appearance. And who is it? I despise to test every single one of you at the district attorney's office, even ones that I don't know. But I especially despise to test the ones I know are my prosecutors. And who is it? Where's your decency, your honor, and your character? It's a taxpayer-financed public proceeding that's a courtroom with a taxpayer-financed assistant district attorney. Who is this person before Alex Renzi? There were two females standing behind me in my last appearance before $210,000 Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court, where he said to me his exact words were, "You finished it, done." And that's not true. And the reason why I say this here on this date of November 28th is I'm going to be in jail again. Because this document here, I'm going to receive this again from you freaks and sociopaths. Or you're going to use Pretrial Services Corporation on me. I'll receive the exact same document again, forcing me into him or someone of these other sociopaths over there at 99 Exchange. We just summarily declare me guilty and remand me to Monroe County Jail. It's that easy to be in jail. Who is it? This document right here is Alex Renzi. Paul C. Metzler, John P. Lenzer Jr., tell me who it is. Perry Douglas, Mark Monahan, Michelle Crowley, Elizabeth Buckley, Raymond Benitez. Tell me who it is. So, criminal complaints. This is Richard J. Sieben, 75904, relatively junior employee at the sheriff's office. He stalked me into the Pembroke Public Library, ran at me, slammed his arm to the side of my head. I fell backwards. My head hit the ceramic tile. That means Richard J. Sieben is a psychopath cop. It's the last time I leave my residence of 8 years at 26 Sandra from driving Penfield, which you can see from Penfield Road. I don't know it yet. I closed the door. I have a clear memory of leaving this day because I would look outside and think, where are they? They had been in my residence so many times. The minute I open up the door, I'm looking for those vehicles like this. My eyes go back and forth like this. Where are these freaks and psychopaths? I did not see anybody that day. But Richard J. Sieben is in a spot where I used to live at 26 Sanders Farm Drive, watching my front door where I can't see him. The lunatic fringe view, you bald-headed, being Wesley skinhead Todd Baxter. Did you send him to do this? Or is this loose cannon, Richard J. Sieben? I walk down Penfield Road to get the bad road, walk into Penfield Public Library. Sieben in his apartment, walk in 5 minutes later. Sieben runs at me, slams his arm to the side of my head. I fell backwards, my head hit the ceramic tile floor. If that happened to you, Perry Douglas, I guarantee you're going to want to see justice for yourself. And justice is Richard J. Sieben being fired and arrested. No one from the district attorney's office present, and that's the offender. You, Julie Sianka, know I'm supposed to be in Penfield Court, but I don't. That means Paul C. Metzler called you, Julie Sianka, and said she wanted to send me to jail, and then you, Julie Sianka, ordered your employee to go to Penfield Town Court where she's waiting for me, when this is not counsel, the window dressing of my public defender so Paul C. Metzler could say I had counsel. Is it constitutional, Perry Douglas, Mark Monahan, Elizabeth Buckley, for Paul C. Metzler to convene Penfield Town Court without the district attorney's office being notified? You know, tell me the answer to that is the counsel to the district attorney, Lisa Gray, which is the first name on the second page of the payroll at 117,086. Lisa Gray, I copied you on this. I hope I have your email right, lgray@monroecounty.gov. Is it constitutional for Paul C. Metzler to convene Penfield Town Court when the district attorney's office is not present? Or not? I don't know. I will not say this is unconstitutional, even though I believe it is. I will not state with absolute certainty this is unconstitutional, because if the destruction of a human being in Roe v. Wade is constitutional since 1973, anything is constitutional. Who is it? Tell me who it is. Freedom of Information Law again here. As far as Richard J. Sieben and Paul C. Metzler and what has happened to me, I'm on this app called TikTok. policy mess with Penfield Town Court. My name is Chris Chichester. You know exactly who I am. You $28,000 widow. I go to the Penfield Public Library, sit down at the computer, which I do every day when I lived at 26 Sandra Farm Drive in Penfield. What I don't know is I'm being followed. Because when I sit down at the computer, I look up and walking toward me are two Monroe County Sheriff Office employees, and one of them with the last name is Siemens. They're coming at me at the Penfield Public Library because of you. And I'm going to demand answers in this 3 minutes of this TikTok. And you're going to refuse to provide me with answers, Paul C. Metzler. Because this is what happened. You disgusting, sickening, repulsive hack. And I'm going to contact the United States Department of Justice about you being on the Penfield Town Court. I'll be relentless about your removal from it. And this is why. I sit at the computer. Siemens and the other sheriff office employee come toward me. And then Siemens launches himself at me with his left arm, slams his left arm into the right side of my head. I fell backwards. My head hit the ceramic tile of the library floor, and the other psychopath had seen me kick me when I was down on the floor. It's a violent attack because of you, Paul C. Metzler. Now, pay attention. They take me in handcuffs, where I walk past the front desk, the circulation desk at the library, where my ex-girlfriend, Laura Riley, used to work. And what I was thinking is, I'm so glad Laura doesn't work here anymore to see this, because I used to go see her. So anyway, they take me down the hallway because Penfield Town Court is down the hallway. Well, you're waiting for me, Paul C. Metzler, because you know this is about to happen to me. And you as one person, you as one $28,000 disgusting, sickening hack want to deliver me to jail, and you're going to be successful in doing that. Where there's not a prosecutor, Paul Metzler. Did the Monroe County District Attorney's Office know that you're sitting there by yourself as Siemens violently attacks me with the other psychopaths with Psychopaths Incorporated? You and Siemens decided I'm going to be in jail, and it's not going to be Monroe County Jail, because I can't be in Monroe County Jail, because I'll be attacked. I'm a security risk in Monroe County. Because when I get to Livingston County Jail, that's what a Livingston County Jail employee told me. Look at my face, Paul C. Metzler. What do you see on my face? This is anger that has to be managed at you, you disgusting, sickening, bald-headed, skin-headed criminal. You as one person decided I'm going to go to jail, and then you deployed Siemens to violently attack me. And then when Regina Harper, my public defender, comes to see me at Livingston County Jail, she says to me, quote, "The judge is holding you," end quote, and that's you. So I'm violently attacked by Siemens because of you. You as one person, without a prosecutor talking, without a jury of 12 rendering a verdict, are then holding me in Livingston County Jail in Geneseo. And this is what I'm going to tell the United States Department of Justice. You $28,000 sickening, bald-headed criminal, Paul C. Metzler. I'll be relentless about your removal from that star chamber you call Penfield Town Court, Paul C. Metzler. This is relentless right now about her removal from this court. You know what's behind me there? You know what's used to be behind there if you watch me now at 18 minutes? That's where Xerox used to be. Why do you think it's not there anymore? My understanding before I moved to Monroe County used to be an X on this beautiful building. This building was constructed, if my memory serves me correctly, in 1968. I really love walking by here. Because if you're a certain age, like my age of 58, you would say at an office, if you worked in an office, I need to make a Xerox. When you're talking about the company, it's not here anymore. Because of Rochester, New York, that's why. They don't want to be in Rochester, New York, because Rochester, New York is a city of freaks. A city of freaks elects District Attorney Sandra Doorley. A city of freaks elects Sheriff Todd Baxter. A city of freaks elects 25% Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court. I'm just telling you over and over here. I sent that TikTok to Trini Ross, United States Attorney for the Western District of New York in Buffalo. I sent that TikTok to her. So as far as the criminal complaints about me being violently attacked by Richard Seaton, slammed his arm on the side of my head. This is July 22nd. This is why Todd Baxter was corrupt. Todd Baxter loves violence. Todd Baxter is in the embrace of violence. Attached to 4 criminal complaints July 22nd. That Richard J. Seaton, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, walked into the Penfield Public Library in Penfield, New York, ran at Christopher Chichester, slammed his arm at the head of Chichester, causing him to fall backwards, hit his head on the ceramic tile floor. Name Roger Lincoln Marshall, 2033 Penfield Road, Penfield, New York, 14526. Falsely reporting an incident of Christopher Chichester, formerly 26 Sandstrom Drive, walked through the parking lot next to his residence. 3 Antonio Spano, Fairport, New York, locked the front and back doors of the residence, 26 Sandstrom Drive, Penfield, New York, without a court order. 4. Laura Rob Webster, New York, transferred the purse belongs to Christopher Chichester, 26 Sandstrom Drive, Penfield, New York, to a storage locker, Webster, New York, without a court order. They're all crimes. None of these people are going to be arrested for committing real crimes, but I will be arrested for just telling a man on his tractor that nobody owns the land next to my residence. You think that's a crime, Elizabeth Buckley? Direct law courts to walk out here, say nobody owns the land, walk back and register. Do you think that's a crime? $131,000, Buckley. I'll tell you what the answer is. That's not a crime. This is the desperation of this cop freak Shannon Meyer, who was paid $67,000 on my handcuffs for the first time in my life for telling a man on his track from Broccoli Tree and Lawn Care that Steve Desmond, nobody owns the land next to my residence, and walk back to my residence. Because when I'm walking through this parking lot for the 4,000th time, Nayraj Shah, 2033 Penfield, begins to scream at me, and he goes to the sheriff's office, and this sick, revolting, disgusting hack, Shannon Meyer, decides to concoct this crime out of thin air for me. That's criminal contempt second. Telling a man on his tractor has 6 Monroe County Sheriff Office employees at my residence because it's cop freak Shannon Meyer, just like this cop freak perjurer right here, Michael Lulan, criminal complaint for perjury, 73212 Michael C. Lulan, Monroe County Sheriff's Office. The 73312 Michael Lulan, Monroe County Sheriff's Office, walked onto private property across from the residence 2600 Trump Drive, Penfield, North Christopher Chichester, the Houlihan ran at Chichester approximately 1 a.m. with $85,000 down by the Devil Sheriff's Office. The Chichester ran away from Houlihan and Beto, unaware of the identities. The Chichester grabbed the hammer alongside his residence next to his bike, used to fix the bike's tire. The Chichester placed his foot on the first 3 steps. On the back porch, Houlihan grabbed his arm, the hammer, and Chichester's hands forced upwards. And Chichester ran across his back porch through the sliding glass door. As Chichester never stopped running, it's possible to swing the hammer at 73312 Michael Lulan. It is impossible, directed to the grand jury, Michelle Crowley, to swing the hammer at Michael Lulan. He goes back to your district attorney's office and he lies, this cop freak, to you in the office. One thing about lying to you directly to your face in your office, directed to the grand jury, Michelle Crowley, when he sits in the witness box and says, I swung a hammer at him, when his body camera shows I ran the whole time, that's when he perjures himself. Todd Baxter loves his perjurer freak, Michael Lulan, who's involved in the death of a human being the state attorney general had to investigate that I'm still researching the details of which. This is a nightmare cop right here. And since Todd Baxter's a nightmare cop, he doesn't take the weapon away from Michael Lulan, and he does not put Michael Lulan on restricted duty, and then he walks onto the private property of my neighbor. Elizabeth Buckley, Perry Duckles, Mark Monahan, Michelle Crowley. Can the cops walk into private property in Monroe County, State of New York, anywhere in the state of New York? Is that legal? I don't know. Again, because the law is bizarre, as I have already stated here. You could tell me, Elizabeth Buckley, because if it's not legal for the cops to walk onto private property, when I'm right next to the bedroom of my 70-year-old neighbor, then how is this, which is not a crime no matter what, how is this possibly defended in court? If he's committing a crime by being on someone's private property and running from it, isn't everything from that point just his ridiculous insanity? I don't know. I'm trying to phrase this in the right way. But you know the answer because you're attorneys. I don't pretend to be an attorney. And when I have an opinion about something that is a gray area, since I am a layman, I will say that I don't know. And saying I don't know is oftentimes the way to go in life, instead of just trying to guess and think you're correct. I do not know if it's constitutional legal for the cops to walk onto private property and lie in wait. But you certainly know what the district attorney's office. You know absolutely, if that's constitutional or not constitutional, legal or illegal. You know. Tell me. You can tell me, Elizabeth Buckley. You know, Elizabeth Buckley, you could call me and talk to me for 10 minutes. Take 10 minutes. You can answer what I just asked you, and then you can also tell me the names of my prosecutors. Or you could do the same thing, Perry Douglas. You could do the same thing, Michelle Crowley. All this information I'm demanding about the grand jury. You could call me on the phone, just like you can, Mark Phillips. SUNY Fredonia, right, Mark? I went to SUNY Fredonia for 2 years before I enlisted in the Army. Hendricks Hall. Where did you live, Mark? Because we talked about SUNY Fredonia. When you're from Long Island, SUNY Fredonia is quite a trip, especially the drinking. Because when I was 18, the drinking age was 18, which is really mind-blowing for me. Because the drinking age should always be 21. But when I was 18, the drinking age was 18. I was there at SUNY Fredonia. And you and I, Mark, talked about it. I don't talk about things because I'm self-absorbed. I want to talk about myself and narcissism. So, Mark, when we talked about SUNY Fredonia, I remember thinking, he has integrity and character and decency. And that evaporated, it vanished. It doesn't exist anymore. Because all you had to do, Mark, is telling me names of my prosecutors. I'm really at a total loss. There are things that I look at behavior that is unethical or moral or legal or sleazy, and I really am at a total loss for how a person can behave that way. Like with Nayraj Shah going to the sheriff's office about being walked through his property, but not anybody else, and then Shannon Meyer not having the ability intellectually to easily conclude that he's a psychopath. There are things that I just don't understand. And that's the case with you, Mark. I'm just at a total loss. Why you just won't tell me the names of my prosecutors when you know their names? That's why. What would you think, Mark, if you were in a library and a psychopath cop ran at you in a library and slammed you in the head? Would you want justice just for yourself? What would you think, Mark, if you just told somebody on his tractor nobody owns the land next to my residence? You're not only charged with criminal contempt, you're going to be in jail for telling a man on his tractor nobody owns the land next to your residence. What do you think about those two things happening to you, Mark Phillips? I'll tell you what you would think, because it's obvious to anybody that can think rationally and clearly. You're going to think, Mark Phillips, that your civil and constitutional rights have just been smashed into a million little pieces. How would you like your life, Mark Phillips, to be decided by one judge in a little room in Penfield, New York, or by one judge in a little room in Rochester, New York? And that's John P. Lomenzo Jr., Paul C. Metzer in Penfield, New York, and Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court. 6 times I've been in jail, and 6 times a prosecutor has not uttered one single word in court. That doesn't matter to the district attorney of Monroe County, because she's corrupt. That's why. You do not know at the district attorney's office that she's corrupt, but I don't have. All my clothes are gone. My dress creams from 17 Cavalry 101st Airborne Division are gone. My BA from the State University of New York at Stony Brook is gone. All my medals from races I've run here in Monroe County, in Fairport, Penfield, Webster, are all gone. I medal in a race every time I run a race. I had this table of these medals. I was 3rd place at the Penfield Education Foundation 5K 3 years ago. I think I ran about 22 minutes. And the reason why I cite that is this was a beautiful medal. And I'm not materialistic about these things, but there are things that you look at and you really are lifted up about having them. I had this beautiful medal just for 3rd place, and I don't have it anymore. Just like I don't have this poster of Winston Churchill, who I've read biographies about. Never, never, never give up. This is one of the greatest individuals of the 20th century, perhaps in all of Western civilization. I had this poster. I don't have it, that medal, and that poster because of Antonino Spano. Why hasn't he been arrested? It's a crime in the state of New York to lock the doors on a tenant, lock the tenant out without a court order. It's because of a number of reasons. One, I'm writing the criminal complaint. That's why. And 2, Todd Baxter doesn't know how to identify a criminal act, and neither does his employees. And neither does Sandra Doorley. She's standing there in the trial of Kelvin Vickers, who killed 29-year veteran of the Rochester Police Department, Anthony Mazurkowitz. And as I'm watching this on TV or reading it about it online, I'm thinking these jurors have no idea that she's a psychopath and she's a criminal and she's a freak. For 18 months, 3 years, I've been demanding names of my prosecutor's sons, and she's refusing for 18 months, 3 years to tell me the names of her prosecutors that didn't talk in court as I'm delivered to jail. The jurors for Kelvin Vickers have no idea that District Attorney Sandra Doorley is a freak. So, this doesn't prove anything. You understand me? I'll repeat things. This here, that's nothing. That land, that has no ownership right there. Which I said to Shannon Meyer on the phone. She called me. She just wants to set me up, concoct this out of thin air. Why Sandra Doorley's a freak? That's not all her, but there's about 50 times in there. That's not everything. And the reason why it's not everything is that I assembled this so I could pick it up with my right hand and hold it. This is the Freedom of Information Law card that comes back to me, the card from the Postal Service, where the Freedom of Information Law is in the envelope that I take this card to. This here is Todd Baxter, Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, Judge Alex Renzi, Paul C. Metzer, James Family Jr. Penfield Town Court, Julie Sianka, Mark Phillips, Michelle Crowley, and others. But it's mostly those names I just mentioned. And I haven't gotten any information. Every time when these green cards come back to me, I use the FOIL, the Freedom of Information Law. There's no information. This is why you're corrupt. Freedom of Information Law. It's how I acquired your payroll. Have you used taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, for which is commonly called sexual harassment? This green card here, that's what I'm attempting to find out. Sexual harassment at the District Attorney's Office, Sheriff's Office. He sent Ryan Fisher to Atlanta, Georgia. This green card goes to Todd Baxter. How much did you fleece the taxpayers to send Ryan Fisher to Atlanta, Georgia? This is why he's corrupt. He's taking pictures of his employees underwater in a pool when his real crime crashing down on Rochester, New York. Here's Monroe County Sheriff Office employees setting this up, posing themselves with the American flag in the background. A joke, a disgrace. Freedom of Information Law. In the Army, you Todd Baxter, I'm talking to you, I'll never know, but Todd Thurston, Scott Alberti, William Tadeo, if you're veterans, then you've taken a PT test. When I look at these Monroe County Sheriff Office employees at the jail, or when they're slamming down to the ground and elsewhere in Monroe County, I really am astonished at the weight problems that they have. 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight. You have employees that are 50 pounds overweight, Todd Baxter. So on this December 16, 2022, you, Todd Baxter, as a veteran, taking a PT test, and you know if you fail the PT test, if you do not do, I don't know what it is now, but it used to be 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, and a 2-mile run in about 28 minutes. Any idiot can do that. Then you're flagged and you can't get promoted. You can't travel. You can't get a raise. You can't do anything. You can't get an award. So Todd Baxter, physical training standards. This is why he's corrupt. December 16. What are the physical training standards requirements at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter? And is there a standard requirement? Does it include running, push-ups, sit-ups? I know the answer. There's a 4 I'll write. And I have no idea what the answer is. And there are ones that I write because I just want to humiliate him. There is no training standards. And I want him to tell me he has no physical training standards whatsoever at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, and he'll refuse. If he had ethics, integrity, and character, he would just answer this. He doesn't have ethics, integrity, and character because he's morally bankrupt. That's why. If everything happened to Zachary Baxter, Kevin Baxter, and happened to me, I guarantee his wife, Mary Baxter, will be in a rage about this. If everything happened to Aaron Doorley that happened to me, I guarantee Bill Loftus, the husband of Sandra Doorley, would be in a rage about it. A lot of others don't matter, you freaks and sociopaths. Over and over and over. This is the FOIL here. It's the last one I'm going to read. This is now 30 minutes. Documentation of voucher, the documentation signed by Sheriff Todd Baxter. He purchased the airline ticket and a hotel room from Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Ryan Fisher to travel to Atlanta, Georgia for the Super Bowl on February 3rd, 2019. Answer me, and he'll refuse. So, and as far as Richard J. Seaton slamming his arm at the side of my head on this May 18th, again, why he's corrupt. The law's a joke to him. The second bullet here. There are 18 in here. He refused to comply with every single one, just like Sandra Doorley. This is the FOIL here for sexual harassment, too. The issuance of a new check to Christopher Chichester at the address below for an expired check in the amount of $61.39 from the County Monroe Office of Sheriff and May Funding Cap. That's the dollar amount in the pocket of Chichester when he's violently attacked at Penfield Public Library, 75904 Richard C. with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Before he started refusing his mail, if he opened it, he looked right at this on the FOIL. And it just doesn't matter to him at all. I'll show you what Todd Baxter looked right at because this is in May. This came back to me. That green card, if he opened it, he looked at right here at this. What I just read, he looked at this right here. My handwriting. I typed it out. And it doesn't matter to him that this Richard J. Seidman, this has to be violent felony assault. I'll be in jail when I haven't committed a crime for telling a man on his track that nobody owns the land next to my residence, walk back and rents. Richard J. Seidman violently attacks me, slams his arm into my head. He won't be fired. He won't be arrested. He certainly won't be in jail. Nothing's going to happen to this freak. This is called double standard of justice here. And it doesn't matter to you with the district attorney's office. Do you understand that these are psychopath cops? Richard Seidman, Michael Houlihan, Don Benedetto, Shannon Meyer, Lee LaRoque, Todd Baxter's $97,000 employee in my residence, tearing my residence apart with a document that's not a search warrant because Paul C. Metro typed it in Penfield Town Court, and my Chromebook is confiscated from my residence and hasn't been returned to me. I've said this over and over. This has been in writing. What I just said is in writing in the sheriff's office. I got these cards made. is guilty and innocent, guilty and not guilty. I'm neither. I'm innocent. That's why this says innocent man. So I will staple this to the documentation as the cover letter. Innocent man. I've been an innocent man my whole life. And it does not matter to you freaks and sociopaths, and that's why you freaks and sociopaths. What you're doing is just presenting me in front of a corrupt judge to summarily declare me guilty. And it doesn't matter to you that these are corrupt judges, Paul C. Metzer, John P. Lomenzo Jr., and Alex Renzi. And it doesn't matter to you, as I'm an innocent man, that you, Todd Baxter, you, Sandra Doorley, you, Alex Renzi, you, Paul C. Metzer, you, James Troney Jr., are in the embrace of violence. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I've been an innocent man my whole life.